Hey guys, my name's Nova, this is Film Express, and today we're going to be talking about the new entry into the Scream franchise, Scream 6. Guys, I've been particularly very critical of the whole Scream series. My favorite is still the original, but my rankings at this point have been kind of all over the place. Now, I really thought Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5 started getting way too meta. Scream 3 in particular was very, very campy. They kind of lost that sense of originality that the first one had. I must say it's extremely refreshing to see a new Scream film that is taking itself very seriously. I have to take a second to just applaud the whole franchise in general for actually hiring some good screenwriters this time around. It's super impressive that the screenwriter duo actually managed to inject some heart into the series. It's really obvious this time that they put a particular focus on bringing the emotions out into the series. Scream 3 really tried to do something similar to this. It really tried to kind of bank on Sydney's trauma after having dealt with these attacks for so long. But the narrative kind of lost focus and it ended up going into like a very campy direction. Scream 6 this time, it really focuses on the frustrations and the fatigue of running from Ghostface for years and years and years, and how that can take a toll on characters. And each death actually has like a lot of grief attached to it. The deaths this time, they don't just feel like one-offs, they're not really brushed off. There's actually weight to each death, which I really like. You know, it's so hard to make a franchise like this with a whole new cast and make it shine, but I have to say, like, this time the characters really do feel fleshed out. I was very impressed with that in itself. There's no real time wasted on any legacy cast, to be honest. Every single plot point, every single line of dialogue is really focused on fleshing out the current characters, the current world, their dynamics. And for that, our new cast really gets their time to shine, you know, and there are some particularly great talented actors working in this series now, so it's really great to see them all get their chance to shine, and nobody's really phoning it in or going in a campy direction. These performances are very grounded. There are a couple sequences in this film that feel super cinematic in themselves. There's a subway sequence in this film, you'll know it when you see it. There's a lot of great homages to great horror films and a lot of really dope references. Like, if you blink, you'll miss them. You know, the red balloon, anybody? Like, that was great to me, and it really felt like it came from a place of love for horror in general, where I feel like maybe Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5 didn't really have that same type of love for the genre. It was merely poking fun at it. Scream 3, Scream 5, they almost became more like Scary Movie to me. Scream 6 really takes things back to vibes that are very close to the original, and I really appreciate that. You know, Jenna Ortega is like a fan favorite at this point. Everybody loves her, and she's very solid here. But I think who really stole the show and carried the show this time is Melissa Barrera. I was very impressed because it seems like she really stepped up her acting from the last movie. This whole film is basically carried on her shoulders, and she really did a great job. I'm very impressed with her. Also, a welcome addition to have Hayden Panettiere back in this film. I've always loved her. I've had a crush on her ever since I was a kid, so it's just nice to see her back in this role, and she really chews up the scenery here. She does a fantastic job. Now, with all that being said, you know, the film still has a bunch of flaws. It's not a masterpiece by any means. And again, I'm very critical of these movies because they're trying to be so self-aware and so meta. Sometimes they lose that cinematic quality, but I should say here, you know, even with the flaws, it's still a pretty solid movie. But let's talk about it. I do think that the pacing was very off. There were some parts of this that really felt like the pacing slowed down, and you don't really feel the stakes being as high as they should be. The stakes are present for sure. I feel like sometimes the film loses that focus, and then you don't feel that sense of urgency. So it really slowed down in some parts. It kind of became a slog in the second act. That's okay though, it's not a big deal. The third act itself was very entertaining. It's crazy to me because to think that this is like the same team behind Scream 5, you know, the directors really stepped up their game this time. Scream 5 was a mess in my opinion. I really didn't like it. It really just tried to be way too meta. This one at least tries to do something original. You know, the new setting is definitely refreshing, but it's mostly about the story here. Like I said, the story feels grounded in emotions, and it feels like it's very character driven, which I really like. It's just so unfortunate that the film really fumbles the bag in the ending. It's really gotten to a point now that any Ghostface reveal is not going to hit as hard as it did in the first film. Sometimes it becomes a really big stretch on who the Ghostface reveal ends up being. In this one, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's also very telegraphed, like you can see it coming, but at the same time it's so far of a stretch that you don't think that they'll actually do that and they'll actually pull that off, but they really try to. And to me, that's where the film suffers. For me, I really want that ending to hit as hard as it did in Scream 1, and it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get that anytime soon. But I'll just say this, the franchise seems to be like it's in good hands right now. And yes, sure, like while the Ghostface reveal was the most left field possible reveal that there could have been, and it was very underwhelming, that whole final sequence was one of the better sequences in any of the Scream films, in my opinion. It really balanced that tone of having some interesting, unique, cool deaths, but as well as having a meta element kind of added into the mix. Having all these kills happen, having this huge action sequence while, you know, Stab is being projected on the big screen, it feels very meta. It's obviously very, very self-aware. And to me, that was kind of one of the more cinematic moments of the whole movie. I was fully drawn in. It only would have been better if the Ghostface reveal was more effective and had more purpose to it. So all in all, I must say I went in with the lowest of expectations, like bottom tier expectations, because I really did not like Scream 5. I was pleasantly surprised, guys. It's not a fantastic movie, and it's nowhere near as good as the first Scream, but it's as close as we're ever gonna get. So for me, I'm feeling pretty generous with my rating this time. So I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is still, you know, pretty good in my opinion for a horror movie. And if I had to rank my favorite Scream films from best to worst, we're gonna go with Scream 1, of course, that's my favorite. Scream 6 is my second favorite now. Scream 2 had some really great stuff in it as well. And then this is when it really starts dipping in quality. Scream 4, which was pretty great, but it felt really silly to me. Scream 5, which was an actual mess of a movie. And the worst one to me is still Scream 3, because it's the campiest, silliest one, where a lot of it really felt very close to Scary Movie, so I can't even like watch that movie seriously. So that's my review of Scream 6, guys. A very welcome entry into a tired franchise, and you know what, if they're gonna keep this energy into Scream 7, I'm actually excited. I'm on board. I'll check it out. Please give a like and subscribe, guys. It would really help the channel a lot. Please give me some comments. Did you guys like Scream 6? Did you guys watch it? Or are you guys refusing to even take part of this anymore? I know a lot of people are tired of the franchise, but hey, to me, it's an improvement. So let's talk about it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. My name is Nova. This is Film Express. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.